Welcome back to Redneck's Dirty Hands. I'm Pete, and today we're taking a break from all the radar running and all that. We don't have any events to go to, so we're gonna get back and doing some work, some projects in the shop here. Now, one of the most popular questions on the internet, you know, aside from how the heck the Beyonce win Country Album of the Year is, what's going on with your mama? So, yes, your mama's still in the shop, and we're gonna be back to work on your mama. But yeah, I'm going to be getting back on your mama. So, you know what? I've got the motor back from Aunt Massey's. I sent it out to them to get a trigger wheel and crank sensor put on it because we're going to be running it fuel injected with my fuel tech off the Power One. You know, if you didn't see, I had the Power One out on the lake. Hit a 76 mile an hour. That sketchiest thing I've ever done. So we're parking that for the winter. I'm going to steal the Fuel Tech 550 off of that, put it on your mama, get it wired and fired. Hopefully, there's still a few things I got to fab up on it. But you know what? The internet wants to see the SRX 700 two-stroke triple running, and so do I. So, you know, there's one other one out there. There's that Todd Cloyne. He's got that Polaris 650 turbo, so it's a beauty-looking sled. So hey, why not? We got to get our 700 triple going. You know, she's gonna be a good-looking rig, and I think it'll be quicker than his 650. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think this will be faster? I think so. So just to refresh your memories there, this is my 2017 Yamaha Sidewinder. This is Yamaha. I built it. It was 4-stroke turbo. I got 140 mile an hour, you know, going back and forth with Jim and his shocker there. But you know what? We figured might as well make the shocker the Go Fast radar runner. And I want to do something different with this. And my idea is take a stock Sidewinder chassis and all that. You know, there's Lieutenant Dangle looking good as always. You know, the old 700 triple there. Those are mint sleds, so, you know, why not combine the two, get them together, make it a baby, and come up with the new chassis, but the 2-stroke triple turbo in there. I think it's going to be awesome, so all we got to do is pitter-patter, get at her, and get that sumbitch going. So I do have... That's the motor I'm going to be putting in there. Aunt Massey's went through, freshened it up. Ended up needing 2 pistons in it. Last time I had my original SRX out, which was basically the same as this one, she wasn't really performing. Well, it's because she was getting squeaky tight. So now we've got a good donor motor to go in there. Still waiting on reeds. I had no idea when I started this project that it'd be such a pain in the arse to get a set of V43 reeds. Like, nobody's got them. Not around here anyway, so I'm just going to be putting it together with the stock reeds in it for now until I can get a better set. But I mean, the internet wants to see this thing going. All you guys have been bugging, asking what's going on, so I'm just going to put it together, get it wired up. If I got to change them down the road, I'll change them down the road, but this is a project I want to see done and running this season, so let's just, you know, grab a cold one. Let's get her done. Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome combining the old school SRX 700 triple. I mean, I'm not going to be running the triple pipes like the, you know, the stock setup there. I know that's how these things, you know, why they have the power they got and how they sound the way they sound, but you know what? I don't really have the room for triple pipes in there, so I'm going to be making it a single pipe setup, and hopefully the fact of having a turbo on there makes up for the lack of pipes, you know, the single pipe. The single pipes sound good on the Vipers and all that, so, you know, hopefully it still sounds good like a good old triple, but it's going to be, you know, just a single pipe deal going on. But I think, you know, mixing the old with the new, it's going to be a winning combination. D-Ron picked this one up as he wanted triple pipes for his SXR and then didn't realize they don't just bolt on. So I was like, you know what? I could use that motor. I'm going to need a spare because if I'm putting the boost in this chassis here with the single pipe, tuning it fuel injected, it's probably going to be a learning curve. Might be melting down pistons, popping jugs, so it's good to have a backup. But in the meantime, we're going to get the carbs all cleaned on this, get it up and running, make sure it's a good donor, and then I think, you know, right now, Nate and Jim, they're out there trying to get Scooter's XC700 going. Yeah, we got to put a jug and piston and everything on that, bring it back to life. But if we get that running, and the SRX going, then we can have a run. We can have a race. Oh, tugger Nate. Keep pulling. That right there, that's why you have kids. You tug it. I'm not. Take 50!
It's not sucking the viewer.
God damn it. Guess we gotta drag that in, eh? Nate, how's your back?
Better than ours.
Well, she's in the shop anyway. Holy jeez. That thing, she's froze cocks. She's froze stiff, eh? But yeah, we'll let her thaw out a bit. And then you can swap out the top end on this and I'll be farting around with your mama.
Get her going for scooter.
Oh yeah. He wants to see her up and going. He thinks it'll beat everything we got, eh?
It'll be all right.
All right, Jim. Well, through the magic of movie, photography, and all that, Scooter's XC700 in here is in. It's dry. It's got no snow. And it's actually a runner.
She's running not too bad.
Yeah, so people gotta get in their DeLorean or the time machine, check out the other video, because in the meantime of filming this one, we made a video on getting that sucker back up and going and doing the top end on that. So now, integrated into this video, gotta clean up the cubelators on this, eh?
Gotta clean the carb.
Right, so if you want to tackle that, we can get going. I know you're going to be taking off later today to go fishing, eh?
Oh yeah, gonna go up and do a little walleye fishing.
There we go, nice one. You got to have some fun during the winter too, eh?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll clean the carbs on here, and then I'll figure out if I can find all the bolts and nuts and bits and pieces, and I don't know, Jim. Your mom has been apart for a while.
There's a bit of parts here and there and everywhere.
Oh yeah, so I'll dig around, see if I can find the motor mounts, the bolts for the motor mounts. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with the power valves. They were telling me at Antimassey's just to wire them open. Bolt them on, run them open for now. Don't worry about trying to get them to cycle. I might do that. I was playing around with the connector on there, and I found the power and ground on there to get them to open and close, so I might be able to wire them to like a wide open throttle signal or something like that, or maybe an RPM cut, who knows. But main thing is, we got to get the motor back in there and start plumbing the fuel lines, coolant lines, figure out the oil system for the turbo. I got to get the turbo back. I sent the one, I want the Turbo Parts Canada that was on Jim's The Shocker on that, but we're down a turbo right now. So hopefully Nick can get us back that other turbo so I can put Jim's turbo on this one, because being a two-stroke turbo, they move a lot of air. So I want that upgraded, the compressor wheel in the stock turbo, so we're moving lots of air. So I don't know, we're not planning on running crazy boost, but you know, we're gonna run some boost. But yeah, everything's crammed down in here, and there's no way I was gonna try and finagle 3 individual pipes all up in the plastics in here. Like, it's space is limited in these chassis here, eh? But man, do I love these sleds versus the Vipers and the 1100s, just for how easy the panels come off. And that's kind of the theme I want to go with. I want this to be like the brand new SRX Sidewinder setup with that 700 triple in there. And still, you know, you can still pull the hood off, still work on it, access everything. I'm hoping it all works out and fits in here good, but I'm sure it's going to take a few beers to figure out the engineering of this and get her dialed nice. But yeah, when I first got this idea to build this project or whatever, I didn't really get a lot of video content on fabbing everything up. I mean, I think I got a little bit on the pipe and all that stuff, and you know, Jim and I rigging up, pulling the motor out of Yamaha originally, and then rigging up that fixture I had for the 2-stroke getting set in here. So now I figure I will show everybody the process of putting this thing back together and finishing up all the little details, like, you know, the charge tubes, making sure the intake's good, the fuel rail, the fuel lines, the wiring, the cooling system. We still got a bunch of hurdles to cross here, but we can do her. But yeah, Jim, what do you think of this project?
Your mama?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty cool build.
Right? I think too, Like, there's that other fella, Todd Cloyne. He's got that Indy 650 with the turbo on there, black and orange. We watched a video or two on that. Good looking unit. So I want this, you know, this is going to be a good looking rig when it's all said and done, you know. And then hopefully being the 700 two-stroke triple, it'd be a good, it'd be a nice one to go and park it beside his and then do a little race, eh? Too bad he's in Minnesota. Maybe they'll come to Ontario.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Nice.
We'll just have to see. All right, well, I guess first things first, I gotta peel all my reed cages and the intake boots off. When I sent it to Aunt Massey's, the plan was, you know, freshen up the motor and then get a set of V-Force 3 reeds or Boyson dual stage or whatever. And apparently, they're like unobtainium. You cannot find them anywhere, so I'm just gonna pull these. They took these apart and gutted them all in expectation that that's what we were gonna be able to do, but unfortunately, I'm waiting on back order for some, so all I have is the gutted out reed cages. So my buddy Farmer came through. I got a set of stock reeds here that we can at least use for mock-up and all that until, you know, hopefully the new ones come in. So I'm gonna stack these guys together. I got some gaskets and all that here. I just want to get this thing together. Hear it make some noise, so we'll get all that on. I'll put my motor mount on. I got this motor mount here I made for the intake side, and then I got another one for the exhaust side. I'll pull the header that I made off, get the mounts on there. We'll get the motor back in the hole where she's got to go, and then we'll start sticking everything else in there. So for now, we're just going with the stock reed cages. Got a new gasket going on there, and then these boots got the rubber inlay there, so we should be good to go. Just to tighten it down for now, I'll lock all three in here, all brand new kind of deal. And then hopefully I get those upgraded ones in. I don't know when. It's already been, it's supposed to be 2 weeks ago, so who the heck knows. Like I said, when I started this project, I was not expecting the fact that reeds would be impossible to get. Okie dokie artichoke. So I had to put the original reeds back together because the ones I got off my buddy Farmer were different. They were off a different, I'm guessing either a Redhead 700 or maybe they were off a 600 or something. They were smaller than these ones. So for now, until I get those ones on back order, I just put these in for now. So hopefully we can at least get this thing fired up and running. Now, this here is the port for the pulse signal for the fuel pump, which we're going fuel injected, so we're not going to need that. So I'm just going to put a rubber plug on top of there for now. I may have to figure out, maybe I'll have to put some sort of breather or something on here. I don't know, but for now, we're just plugging her off, and then I can put the motor mount on this side, and then flip around, maybe put my motor mount on the other side, and we can set it back in there, I think. And then this motor mount that I made is going to go right like so. And this thing is, she's getting solid mounted. There's no rubber isolators or anything. So that's why I made that jig to mount this motor in place. So the center offset and everything on the clutches is going to stay locked in one position only. So hopefully we don't have any belt issues. Oh. Hopefully we don't strip any of these bolts. Get back here. let's spin this sucker around. All right, so I just got this exhaust mocked up on here just to make sure after they put the new cylinders on, or at least put the new pistons and everything in there, that everything still lines up, and we're looking good, but I got to take it off to get it in there. So we'll spin these guys all out of here, put our front motor mount on, and then drop it in the hole. Just like so. And that fella is gonna go right there like that. With these bolts, I do believe. Oh, baby. Oh, need a wrench for that one. And I need a wrench for that one. God damn it. Okay. Tight and right. Now we can drop her in, and Tomasi's did make a block-off plate for the oil pump there, because we are going to be pre-mixing the fuel in this thing. We're not going to be having the oil injection, so I might as well clean up the ports here for the exhaust. We'll drop it in, and then I got to put the power valves in before I put my W pipe on there, because there's no room in there, eh? Alright, so the motor's complete. We got the solid motor mounts on there. Got the stock reeds back in. Took the exhaust off, so now we just got to get that power plant back into that empty hole in Yamaha. So, D-Ron, I'm gonna need a hand.
Want me getting the beer?
In a minute. I'll get you to hold the steering post up and out of the way, and I'll try and snake the motor in over here and then get it plunked on the mounts.
See what we can do, eh?
Alright, D-Ron, you hold that.
Should you dust that off, or look at the dust?
Is it dusty in there?
Dusty, look.
Oh, jeez.
Come on.
Where's Nate when you need him?
Right?
I'm sure I'm going to have the motor out once or twice anyway.
All right.
We'll just wait and see. Now, this motor is definitely lighter than the 4-stroke I took out of here, but
Watch your head.
I might need your help guiding this sumbitch in there. Right like so.
Yeah. Yep.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Now that wasn't too bad.
No. That was pretty good.
That's a thing of beauty right there.
Yeah.
All right, well, the hard part's almost over. I got the motor sitting in there. Now I just got to bolt it all up. So now I will hand the camera over to my beautiful, lovely assistant and life partner. Okay, baby. So it's been a while since I've had the motor sitting in here, but you know what? It's go time. We got to get it bolted in. Nate and Billy took this thing all apart one day when I was not here, so I got to find all the bolts and everything, but I think I remember how it all goes. So I've got the motor mount set up, so this plate goes down where the original hoop went for the front mount, so I just got to put 2 bolts down in there, and then I drilled out the flat spot on these back motor mounts, so I put bolts through there, and like I said, you know, this project, everybody wants to see it happen, and I'm pretty sure the universe wants to make this happen, because just by making that jig to rig the motor up in here and tilting that motor forward, like the original SRX motor mounts bolted onto the engine here, are in perfect plane with the flatness, the level of these back motor mounts. So all I had to do was just extend some plates out to land on top and bolt it in there. So like this is coming together pretty good, and you can see with it sitting in here, like I still got to put all the gusset bars in, but the steering post comes straight down through here, misses the spark plug, everything like that. So I'll still be able to change the spark plugs when when this thing's all back together. She's gonna be tight. Look how close this is too. This is the original crossbar from the jack shaft, the brace that goes from front to back. Here's your original coolant rail from all the heads, and I still got a finger's width, a gap in there. Like everything fits. There's clearance. So let's get this motor bolted in, locked down, and then I got to figure out the coolant lines. I'm gonna have to rig a remote bottle up here somewhere, but my exhaust is gonna be going through here, so we'll have to work around with that. And then I got to get this coolant line. I want to see if I can turn this hose, and then I'll get an adapter and I'll try and run it around this way and then into here to line up with that. And then the bottom one, if we come over here, I got my heat exchanger comes straight out here. And so we basically just got to do a little 90 kind of deal, because there's the lower coolant hole. So that one shouldn't be too bad. So let's get the motor bolted down, locked down, so it's going to live where it's going to be. And then I'll steal some coolant hoses off of, we got that old Viper underneath the hoist over there.
Okay.
So, I don't think we're going to get at that project this season to get her up and running. So we might borrow some parts off it, baby. Okie dokie artichoke. So I'm just gonna try, and it's a little bit tight access to get at some of these bolts here, but I'm hoping I can hold these suckers and tighten them up. There's that one. From the bottom. Oh, come on. Just tight access, baby. That one.
You get it out.
I don't know.
Well, now you have a hood ornament.
Come on. It's just the angle of the dangle. I think I might need a little bit of an extension. Ah, God damn it. Needed the angle of the dangle, eh? All right, so I got 4 grade 8 3/8 bolts locking this thing down. It's all solid mounted, so it's just solid steel plate bolted to the motor front and back, and that thing there, she ain't going nowhere, honey. That's locked in there rock solid. So now that's mounted in there, we can carry on and figure out, I think we'll steal some parts off that Viper, some coolant hoses, try and rig up the bottom one. I think that's going to be the easiest one, and then we'll try and figure out this one here, because we are going to have to stay away from the jack shaft, underneath the intake. I made up this sucker here. So this here is my intake and throttle bodies and fuel rail and all that jazz all in one. Don't pay too much attention to these welds on the fuel rail. I had to remember the heat exchanger on D-Ron's sausage there, where I kept chasing the little pinhole leak. Yeah. Ended up doing the same on here. Silver solder would have been the best way to go at this, but I don't have any, so I just kept sitting there zapping it with the MIG welder until I put air in here and no more bubbles. So we got the fuel rail in there, so this sucker is gonna go in like this. Somehow like this. There we go. So that's gonna snap down into those boots there. My charge tube will go from here to here. So I gotta run the coolant line under here, and then my exhaust pipe is gonna snake in through there. So we gotta kinda figure out the placement of everything. I still gotta run the fuel lines. This will be my return, that'll be the feed. And then I'll have to figure out where I can put a coolant bottle. And then what I'm gonna do with the power valves, I don't know yet. Aunt Massey was kind of saying, you know, should probably just try and wire them open for now and not worry about getting them actually, you know, working until we get it all up and going. It's like, if I was just racing it, I could just wire them right up wide open, because that's all I'll ever be, is wide open. But if I want to get it kind of responsive, trail rideable, I'm going to try and figure out, see if I can rig them up so they actually work. So yeah, I just cut, I had a spare set of carburetors, so I cut all the ends off and welded them to these throttle bodies. So these are throttle bodies off of a Yamaha 3-cylinder. Oh yeah. So those guys snap in there just like so. And then I got these outposts I'll bolt in, and then this bolts that down, so we'll have it clamped here, and bolted down so the intake cannot pop off. And this is all solid mounted, so everything's gonna be rigid to the chassis, so I don't have to worry about too much flex. I'll stiffen everything up. I'm gonna have to put some heat shielding on the fuel tank here, because my pipe does come right real close to here. So we don't want this to be a fire cat. We want it, right? So we'll see. Little by little, we'll figure everything out. And then I gotta get the oil tank on here and figure out my oil pump for the turbo. I'm waiting on, I gotta get the turbo back from Nick at Turbo Parts Canada there for Jim's, the shocker, the other upgraded one, because I want to take the turbo from the shocker and put it on here. I want a Turbo Parts Canada on this. You know, we want to hear the whoosh, whoosh. Follow me, honey. Look at this sweetie right here.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Right? Could you tell it's a Viper, eh? So I got this one tucked away under the hoist. This is a bit of a project. I wanted to do it as a basket case, you know, cheap sled. You know, I got this off of Buddy Brad from Motorsports Pickering there for, I think I gave him $1,000 for it. It is, well, I can't really say it's complete. All the parts are here, but it's not complete. So we've got an engine in here, we got bits and pieces and all that jazz, but whether I'm gonna get to this to actually build it and get it running this season, I don't know, because I need some hoses for your mama. And I'm thinking this one here might be the ticket I need for getting from the heat exchanger to the motor. Or there's another 90-degree bend one down there. Oh yeah, shed some light on there. And I think I might even be able to use this hose here as a crossover for the upper one. So I'm gonna steal from Peter to pay Paul here, grab some pliers and some screwdrivers. I'm gonna pull those hoses off and see if we can make something work, baby.
Are you gonna put these sweet mirrors on your mama?
Well, your mama, she's a pretty girl. She does like to look at herself, I bet. You work the camera and hold my tools for me?
I could probably do that.
Okay. So I'm just gonna steal a couple of hoses here, and then we'll see what works out the best for our situation on your mama. And then, you know, if I do decide to get this thing going, we'll just have to steal some hoses off of something else.
Feel like you have lots out back to choose from?
I think we do. Beauty part about this one too is she's been sitting dry and empty for a while, so we're not spilling coolant to do all this. Oh, need my hook driver. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think, oh, let me reset this. I think this one here is gonna help us get where we need to go for that upper hose too, so. That's where You gotta love these little hook tools. You got coolant hoses stuck on there. You just get up under there. Cracker free. And then you just pull her off. Tickety boo. All right, let's see if any of these. Hey?
You bleeding now?
Oh yeah, always. All right, like I said, the universe is favoring this build because that lower hose right there off of that, what is that, a 2002 or 3, I don't know what year that Viper is, but that bottom hose, it's got a spring in there so it can't collapse. I've got it looped on to the heat exchanger and goes right to the lower rad hose, the coolant port on there. So with the spring in there, it's not kinked or collapsing. Like, it's there and it's meant to be, baby.
Looks good.
And so we just gotta tighten up the clamp on that side so we know that one's good. So then now I'm hoping with the combination of these ones, like what I want to try and do is come out like this, right? Like, holy jeez, are you kidding me? Like, that'll hook onto there. That'll bolt in. So then I'll just need to be able to hold this off of the jack shaft, and then we just got to go from here to here. So, I might be able to put this one, take this one off of here, clamp that one on, and then I just need a straight shot of pipe to go from there to there as a joiner, and we're in freaking business, babe. Okay, okay. I like it. I will take that one off, and then we'll try and rig it up here. Oh, so we're just gonna try, see if we can peel this one out of here. Oh, I might need my little hook driver. Can you find it for me, baby? Thanks, honey.
You're welcome.
Best assistant ever.
Great. Help's hard to find, you know.
Just like you were, baby.
That's
But I
right.
found you. All right. Well, this one here, that doesn't have like a, normally all the coolant hoses have like a little barb, something that, you know, is raised up so it can't slip off when you put the clamp on. This one doesn't have that, so we're definitely gonna have to put the screw clamps back on there. So hopefully this one isn't too loose on there. Ooh, she's a wee bit loose, honey. We might have to find a different one.
Nobody likes that.
No, no, nobody likes that. Or do I just put that in and angle it a little bit?
I mean,
Yeah,
you're gonna angle it that way anyway, aren't you?
yeah, I mean, that might still work. And then I could put, oh, maybe 2 little joiners. Right, so if I put a joiner in there and a joiner in here,
Okay.
that would almost,
I mean, it reaches.
yeah, that could work out perfect. And then I could clamp or zip tie it to this vent off the chain case there,
Yep.
and that would keep it off the jack shaft. So we wouldn't be rubbing a hole through the hoses here with the jack shaft, and then it's still secure. It's under the intake, well away from the exhaust. And then that would be our lower hose and our upper hose complete, done. And then all we'd really have is there's a barb coming off of here. I think this went to the carburetors to like warm them up in the wintertime kind of deal.
Okay.
I am gonna have to try and plumb, the turbo has coolant ports in and out type deal. So I can cycle coolant through there to help keep it kind of regulated so it doesn't coke up and get too hot or whatever. So I might have to tap into one of those for that, or my line coming from the bottle to here, I could tap in and go to the turbo that way. So main thing is we want the top and bottom hoses to be done, tight and right so we can actually run this thing. We could cap everything off just to get it fired up and make sure we got coolant circulating and all that. But what was that I hear?
Sounds like it's beer o'clock.
I'm waiting.
You're on. You're sneaking around in the background drinking beers, eh? I know that sound all too well. It's like, well, I'm Canadian. It's yeah. Every Canadian knows what that is, or what the jingle jangle of a case of 2-4 is. So one of those hoses works perfect on the bottom from that Viper to this, and I think that upper one's going to work to get us underneath the intake, but unfortunately to get from the top of the heat exchanger over, the hose sizes and the angles aren't quite right. So I can't remember what the heck this is off of. I think it's off of a Ford or something. I don't know.
Probably off of Ford because you work on a lot of them here.
Right?
Right?
So I can't remember if this hose had a leak or something in it. We'll have to test it, but this one's got a nice little bend to it, and I think it'll get us where we need to be. So we just got to cut that off of there, and why not use one of the coolest things I ever got off the Mack tool truck?
Oh, okay.
So if you need to cut something, yeah, this will do her.
Well, I wouldn't be putting on your knee.
Right? No, cut your leg off.
So I'm gonna try and save as much as the hose as I can here. This thing's nice and sharp. Jesus. Right? Hey, you got that money you owe me?
Yeah. Is that for disgruntled customers?
Yeah.
Hard to believe you can buy a freaking machete off the Mack tool. Look at it. It says it right there.
Oh, yeah.
Got a saw on the end of it too.
All right, so I'm hoping this kind of cool bend here. Oh yeah, see that fits nice and tight on the hose there. So that'll be more of a gradual transition from here to there, right? So then I might just need,
Yeah, you got like what? 2 inches or 3?
oh, if you, that's 2 inches?
Sorry, 6.
So, hold on. Let me cut this one off and see what this one looks like in there. It might be better, who knows? One of the best movies ever growing up. Well, that's not a knife, that's a knife.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
You're a little nervous, eh, babe? Just dial 9-1, and then if we gotta dial the other one.
Oy, oy, oy.
Here, I'll fold it like that, so you put some stress on it, and then all you gotta do is just glide it over top.
Just call me Mr. Butterfingers.
Look at that. She's a sharp machete, I'll give him that. Nice one. Okay, so I think this hose off of whatever that mystery hose assembly that I had. So I want to say Ford or Volkswagen, I don't really know. I think this is going to be the winning ticket because it curls up nice. It's got a nice molded 90 here and then shoots us straight across to this side. The only problem is this is like 3/4, and then this other hose off of that Viper is more like a 1 inch on this end. But I found this water pipe adapter. Now it's got the threaded end on here, but I mean, if I jam her in there nice and tight, I can put a screw clamp on there, and that'll keep her sealed. And then this guy goes up into here, fits perfect on there. And then we take this hose here, slip it on, then I'll be able to clamp that fella. And then now we're connected from the top straight across. I can zip tie it up to this bracket, keeping it off of the jack shaft, and we got 0 kinks. So I think that'll work, babe. Now I did call Scooter. You know, he is a plumer by trade. So he says he might have some 90-degree elbows. So before we like sign off on this setup, we'll take a look and see what he's got. But I gotta say, I'm liking this. I think it'll work.
Looks good.
Yeah, baby. Now, I just got this sitting in here loose, but because I modified, like these are regular throttle bodies off a 3-cylinder Yamaha. I forget if these were off of, what were these off of? Viper, maybe? So I cut them apart, widened it all. I want to make sure my throttle and everything is still going to work. So I got to hook my throttle cable up in here, which is going to be a little bit tricky, I think. Thank you, Hunter. Cable's on there. And then this guy threads into here. Make sure I thread it in straight. We don't want to thread her in crooked. The old Newfie Loctite, you know. So basically, that's going to go in there. We might be at the end of our adjustment here, but so I got quite a bit of free play in the cable there. We might be right at the end. Look at that though. Throttle engaged. Are we getting right?
Yeah.
See, so I made this aluminum shaft. I got some O-rings on each side. I've got this pin because I had to separate. Normally there's a straight shaft that goes through them all. Well, these two anyway, to keep them synced, and then this one's pinned to that one. So because I had to widen them out, I had to make sure that everything is still working nice and smooth and true. So all 3 butterflies are opening at the same time, the same rate, the same distance, all that. So I'm hoping we got her. And we're getting full throttle. Mint.
Looks good.
All right, so I mean, things are coming together. We got the motor mounted, we got the coolant lines figured out, we got the fuel rail figured out. I just got to figure out the fuel lines. And then probably try and use the original rad cap setup from Yamaha. I gutted this one. I got no thermostat. She's straight through in there. I don't know if you can see that. So my plan is I'll probably block off the top one here, and then I've got 3 ports here, so I'm hoping I can mount this somehow in here, this vicinity, so it still goes under the panels, and then I'll run a line from here to here, and then from these guys here I'll hook them into the turbo, the coolant lines there, so we still got coolant kind of going through the turbo, and then getting in here we got a rad cap. We'll have a sealed cooling system. And then we'll be one step closer. Then I got to figure out the oil setup for the turbo. I think I'm going to have to steal the turbo off of that part sled over there in the corner because Nick's got, I sent the turbo from Yamaha to him to get modified for the shocker, and then we had an issue with that turbo, so we had to put Jim's turbo back on. So we're minus a turbo. So I might have to steal that one, mock it up on here. But for now, this is some progress on Yamaha. People have been asking what is going on with Yamaha. This is what's going on. We are working on it. We want to get this thing ready to rip. We're having a decent winter so far. I think we're going to have snow for a little bit yet. So I think I still got a little bit of time to get her wired and fired. And I might sell Lieutenant Dangle, you know. Like if I sell Lieutenant Dangle, my theory is if I sell it, I have to get Yamaha going because I got nothing to ride. Right? So, and I'd rather be riding Yamaha anyway, right?
Who wouldn't?
So I'm trying my best to remember how I had all this stuff rigged up. So I put the turbo bracket back in, but I'd peel the turbo off that other one over there. So I've got the spare turbo, and then I was like, well, I remember I had it tilted and not mounted directly onto here, so it would cover all this, like clear off all that stuff. So I had to modify the oil tube on it because the original one has a bracket that mounts it to the compressor housing, which gets in the way. So we got to pull this one off of here. All right, so separate that guy off. The gasket's still on that one. And I can't remember if I think because it originally went like that and bolted on there, I think what I did was flipped it around, because normally on a stock Sidewinder, this one would come off and go down through here. There's the oil drain goes towards in front of the motor. But I think because I'm going to be draining it here, I'm pretty sure I had it set so I could flip it around this way. So we're going to try it that way, just to see. I could be wrong.
Do you have it in an old video you can look back at, or?
I mean, probably. I don't. That's what happens when you get doing something and then life carries on and get sidetracked with other projects and, you know, going to events and having to work and pay the bills, and you just forget stuff. But it's coming back to me, baby. I have never been very good at puzzles, but I think it's coming together. I can't remember if, because I don't think like Nate and Jim took it apart, but I can't remember if I had the turbo off of it before they took it apart. But because I remember making these brackets just to kind of lift and push the turbo up and out of the way. But I mean, it's kinda.
I mean, it looks good.
Right? So yeah, I do remember now flipping the oil drain. So now it kind of snakes out this way and will go into the oil tank straight across here. And then I'll have the regular oil feed sitting down here. I'll put like an electric pump or something on it to pump it up to the top of the turbo here. And then I got these two coolant ends that I'm hoping when I get this guy rigged up in here somewhere, somehow, I can come off of these guys and go, although it's gonna change like the high point of the cooling system. I mean, I'll try and keep this up as high as I can so we don't get an airlock in the line, but I might have to come up with some fancy routing going on over here, maybe. I don't know. And then with it that way.
Yeah. See if that fits.
Yeah, I can't remember how the heck I did that. I think it snuck through the turbo and the oil line there. At least Jim and Nate were thinking they got right top marked on here, so it is confusing a little bit, but or was I just going underneath it? No, she ain't gonna make her that way. And definitely wasn't going over top, so I think it had to have been sneaking through this and the oil line. Come on, you dirty dog.
Maybe not.
Maybe I just gotta take the oil line off, get that bar situated, and then put the oil line back on. If I can. I don't know.
There's definitely a video showing it.
What's that?
So there's definitely a video showing
I would think so.
like what you had going on. Just gotta figure out which one it was.
Yeah. Go back into the playlist and maybe we'll have a beer, go back in the playlist, have a look.
Yeah.
And then figure it out from there, eh?
Probably the best idea.
That's the best part about making videos.
Get the brain juices flowing.
Yeah. If you don't remember how something goes, just have a beer and hit rewind, watch it again. Yeah. So I took the oil return line off because I thought maybe I was going through there, but does not look like I was. Looks like I was going underneath the whole show here, so we're just gonna get those started. And then, so now, yeah, that crossbar goes down underneath the turbo. So I've got clearance here for my top coolant line for the reservoir. So that should be all right. And then I just don't know why wasn't it fitting with this in there. Maybe it was just the angle of the dangle was wrong. Yeah, she's a tight fit, but I think it'll go. It's gonna be tricky freaking doing that up though. Come on, mechanic fingers. Ugh, up, down, up, down. Okay. Okay, I think I got it. So everything is still kind of loose here, but now if I tighten that bar up, it's going underneath the turbo and there's a bit of clearance here. So like that, none of this stuff's super tight yet. We're just kind of mocking it up and remembering where everything was. But turbo is mounted, that is how it was. So now we just got to figure out what we're gonna do with that. What are we gonna do with that?
You don't need it, do you?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Chuck it over your shoulder, eh? I got the little coolant barbs for the turbo here somewhere. Okay, baby girl. So I think we're gonna run into a bit of an issue though with these coolant pipes for the turbo. I might have to see if I can get, I'll just maybe borrow the other one off that sled over there. So I got two that come out this way, because this one's gonna be trapped in between this coolant line and the brace here, and I don't have everything super tight yet. But if I bolt that in over there, and it's looking kind of tight tolerance, and then we still got to mount this. The idea was to mount it here, but I forgot. We got a freaking exhaust pipe coming in through here. So let's double check this before we go too far, baby. You remember how to get this thing in here?
I remember you had to like snake it in there.
Okay, yeah.
You got her.
Yeah, something like that, eh? So that's gonna sit there like that. Of course, it'll be mounted a little bit different there, but that definitely leaves no space for the rad cap to be over here. So, I mean, could try and snake it back here, but the side panel comes right here, and I don't want to cut any more holes in the panels if I don't have to. On a side note, everybody, Scooty, Mr. Plumber, he's got some copper elbows and 90s, so we might be able to rig something up a little bit better for this guy here, get a better transition going instead of using the straight barb. I can rig that up, get a better transition going there. And then maybe I'll throw the hood on real quick, babe. Just to make sure, because everything does supposedly fit under here, you know what I mean?
Good there.
So that's on there. That's gonna be sitting where it needs to sit there. That's definitely no good over here. The side panel's gonna be sitting right here, so we can't mount that anywhere. But I mean, a while ago, your mama used to have the goggle bag in here, but I ditched that. I think JP stole it or D-Ron stole it. Somebody else has it except for me. So what I'm thinking is, if I just carve out a little bit of the plastic in here, I'll have the fuel tech mounted there, and then maybe I just mount this guy up in here. That way it'll keep it as, it'll still be the high point for the cooling system. You can fill it right through here, it'll be easy access, and then it'll drain down through. I think that's gonna be the ticket. Just have that sucker dangling up in there. I'll still be able to see the fuel tech, and I mean, I can't really see where else to put it. I think it'll work out good there. It'll keep it high, out of the way. I can run the hoses around everything, just trim the hood panel a little bit. And then I think that will finish off the cooling system. So now that we got a good idea where things are going, we got the turbo kind of mocked up, the exhaust is on there, the intake's on there. I'm gonna have to put the W pipe on. I'm gonna get some exhaust temp sensors from Antimassi's there for the fuel tech, so I can monitor each cylinder individually. So I'm only gonna have one O2 sensor in the exhaust over here, so I might as well put the heat temp sensors on each cylinder so I know if one's going lean or if one's cool. So Yo Mama, she's coming back together, baby. Okay, well, and there you go. We are back on Yo Mama. People have been asking. It's been probably the highest comment we get, like the amount of comments, like, what's going on with your mama? Where's that 700 222 stroke turbo build? What's going on? So I am working on it. It's just we got busy doing some other things, you know. A build like this, you know, it takes a little bit of planning, some time. I had to wait for some parts. You know, I sent the motor out to Antimassi's. I got it back finally, but now, you know, I don't really want to run it with the stock reeds because I'm going to be boosting it, but I just cannot get aftermarket reeds, so we're just going to carry ahead with the stock ones, babe.
Okay.
So, you know what? Everybody wants to see it run. I want to see it run. I want to hear it run. So we're going to push forward and we're going to get it running. So, you know what? I appreciate all the support. You know, I knew that this thing would be a bit of a popular build, and you know, you could snow checker for 2026, limited edition, RNDH, Yo Mama. You know, that last one, they auctioned off the final one there. I think it wasn't too long ago. Went for $165,000 US. You know, may snow check this one. We're taking orders.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe we'll hit 200,000, eh? If this thing works good, triple 700 two-stroke triple fuel injected, it'll be worth 200 grand, wouldn't it?
350.
Yeah, smiles per gallon. That's what she's gonna be worth. But as always, we appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope you enjoy this video. You know, this is the stuff I like doing, is the creating, the building, the different stuff. You know, I love the racing and all that, but building stuff like this is what I live for. So hopefully I can get this thing up and going, hopefully soon. You know, I'm gonna try. Looks like we're gonna have a little bit of winter for a little while. So I think I got a little bit of time, but I'm not gonna take it easy. I might sell Lieutenant Dangle, so I have to get this done, so I'll be able to ride Yo Mama this season. And we'll just see what happens. But as always, thank you so much for tuning in. The support on the channel has been fantastic. You know, going to the events, meeting all of our good fans, you know. You guys are literally the best.
Yes.
So you make us want to do more. You know, we want to make this our regular gig, and we want to put out as much content as we can. And, you know, breaking news, this just in, baby. Read the ticker down there. These people down here joining our membership program, supporting us directly. You know, it's awesome. $4.99 a month just to get like early access to the channel, you know, the videos and, you know, some behind the scenes stuff. Maybe one day we're gonna try and rig up a podcast going here too at some point, but you guys signing in, joining the membership program is awesome. You know, should be a link through the YouTube algorithm or channel at the bottom of the video to a join button. Some people have been saying that they can't find it if they got an iPhone or whatever. They got to log in through their TV. Maybe, you know, check that out. But we really appreciate all support. We have been hearing a lot of issues about people not being able to join the membership program. So we might do a link through the website, whether it's Patreon or something else like that, just for the people that can't join for some whatever reason. We want everybody to have a chance. You know, we appreciate the support. And then the people that are sending us the super thanks, like Hillbilly Towing, $140. Yeah, that's good. We appreciate that a lot. You know, you can buy a lot of beer with $140. So thank you very much. And everybody else, you know, sending the super thanks. You guys, you're awesome. You know, it's
Greatly appreciated.
Yeah. You know, as Canadians, you know, we're very thankful people. Thank you very much. So stay tuned. You know, we're gonna have the build series going on Yo Mama to finish it off. I mean, this one didn't get a lot accomplished, but I mean, we got the motor back in, and I think I've got a good handle. The cooling system I think I can scratch that off the list aside from putting the rad cap up here, but that'll be the easy peasy stuff. So the next time I'm gonna get the fuel lines figured out. I'll get everything hardwired and I'll get everything mocked up. So everything's tight and right, and then it'll be down to just the wiring, you know, the electrical, all that stuff fuel. And we can hopefully fire this sumbitch up. So, as always, thanks for tuning in. Take her easy. Cheers.
Cheers.